and you're looking for your trends, right? In your messaging. So this is something that I would report on right here, right? These last 3 weeks. Now, it's not just about reporting on a time period, it's about also saying, hey, this is not normal. Okay, think about this. Just take yourself out of the assignment. Okay, remember I told you your hardest challenge converting this from an assignment to what it actually is, okay? Which is your job, is whatever company's data, okay? These are people, these are things, these are transactions happening, okay? And you can't look at it as an assignment, okay? So take yourself out of the assignment. What does your company want to know? They want to know when something changes, right? If let's just put it like this. If revenue is $200 a week, okay? And so for the past 10 weeks, revenue has been $200, okay? All of a sudden, revenue jumps up to $600. That's something I need to know about. That's out of the ordinary. That's not normal. Normal is $200 a week. Now you hit me with 1,000. Wow, what happened? Or it goes from 200 to 30. Whoa! What? Where's the drop? What happened here? We need to investigate. We need to find out what's going on. That's insight. Insight is like, whoa, right? Insight is not like, oh. It's like, oh, right? Whether it's bad or it's good, it's still, oh. Okay? So if you're saying, oh yeah, something went up 1%, no, that's oh, right? That's underwhelming. Nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to hear about a 2% jump. Nobody wants to hear about something that normally happens. Guess what? I woke up this morning. Who wants to hear about that? We all woke up this morning. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Has to be a jump somewhere or a lower somewhere to be insight. Okay, not insight, insight. Okay, and so if let's say the number changes, it's $1 million a week, right? $1 million a week is only exciting once it comes from 100,000. And it goes up to $1 million. But then if it's $1 million, week in, week out, week in, week out, it's no longer exciting. Okay, just like when you guys get your job, right? You're gonna go from making this much money to this much money. But guess what? After you get used to making that money week in and week out, it's still a good thing. It's just not exciting. It's just not insight anymore. Okay? It was insight when it happened and you had that jump. Now it's just normal, right? So your insight is based on it looking a certain way and then changing. Okay? Like, for example, if you look at the past 3 weeks, 1, 2, and 3, my average response time in the chats is 7.86 hours. Okay? But if I look at the previous 3 weeks, my average response time is 7.61. Hold on, what was this? I forgot that fast. Okay, somebody write this number down. 9.69. 9.69 is the past 3 weeks, okay? Now, the 3 weeks before that is 7.61. Somebody write that down, 7.61. Okay, so what's happening here is over the past 3 weeks, we've seen an increase. So we, over our last 3 weeks, we're looking at about 8 hours, okay? And then over the last 3 weeks, you can see right here, 5.34, 477, all right? It's looking like an average of 5 and some change, okay? Now, if I'm saying my insight is over the past 3 weeks, now I'm going to take an average of these and an average of these. So I always go to percentage increase or percentagecalculator.net. So I'm going to send that through to the chat. All right. You guys want to definitely take down that website. All right. So when you're finding, and let me explain to you guys what the good thing about percentage increase is. Okay. And why we always do percentage increase is because if revenue is $1 million for one product and it's 500,000 for another product, you would automatically say the first product is better because it has $1 million to 500,000, right? But what if I told you that this million was collected over a year and this 500,000 was collected in 1 month? Who would you say is better now?
The 500.
The second one, right? So you can't just look at the total numbers, okay? And also, if I'm going from one number to another, I have to have a starting point to see, did I go up or did I go down, right? Like it's important to know, if I started here, we were just talking about normal. What is normal? Okay, normal is the $200 every month. That's normal. That's my starting point in a percentage increase calculator, is what is normal. That's my start. Now, what happened? Did I go drastically up? Did I go drastically down? That is your percentage increase. Okay, starting from normal, did I go up or did I go down? That's your percentage increase. And that's what people want to know, right? They don't want to know, oh, $1 million. What's normal? Because if normal is $1 million a week, then you telling me that we made $1 million this week is not insight. Okay, remember, it has to be insight, not insight. Okay, insight. So insight has to have a starting point, and then it did something. Okay, and so that's your percentage increase calculator, or your percentage increase. Now, where did I start from? I started from, somebody give me the second number I gave you.
7.61.
7.61. And what was the other number?
9.69.
9.69.
Okay, so starting from 7.61, okay, and going to 9.69, and for those of you who are curious, all right, the calculation is B minus A over A. Okay, A is your starting point. Okay, B is where you ended up. Okay, so this is, what is the numbers? So in this case,
Multiply by 100.
B is 9.69 minus 7.61, and then all of that divided by 7.61. So this would come out to 27.33%. All right, let's see, 0.61 divided by 7.61. Yeah, that's what I got. All right, so
Okay,
And you
got it.
got to make sure you got parentheses right here too. That's very important. Right here with your order operations has to be like this, because if it takes that, if you don't have that, all right, so we say 9.69 minus 7.61, all right, divided by 7.61, and that's my 27.33%, which is my number right here, okay? So what this is saying is, in the past 3 weeks, we've had a 27.33% increase over the past 3 weeks versus the prior 3 weeks. Okay, now we could have done anything in this past 3 weeks. We could have gone down, we could have gone up. Okay, in this case, we went up, which in this data set, in this graph, is not a good thing. It's a bad thing, because that means we're going up on our first response time. So that means the time it's taking us to respond is going up, which is a bad thing. Okay, and so how do I say that? Because then you have to word it right. Okay, because if you don't word it right, like some of you guys just love to throw out the week over week and year over year, and you're assuming that people know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm going to say that they don't. Okay, I'm going to say that people, you got to be absolutely clear. Okay, so I would say, in the past 3 weeks, the first response time has risen 27% versus the previous 3 weeks. Now that makes sense. Whoa, I'm looking at the previous 3 weeks. That is my normal. Okay, the previous 3 weeks is my normal. So what have we done since then? Well, we've gone up 27%. Whoa, 27%. That's a lot. Okay, anything outside of, I mean, it really depends on your data, but 27% is going to be high regardless. If you're doing a percentage increase meaning you had a starting point and you went up 27%, that is usually going to be significant. Most things are significant unless it's just a small number, because that's why the percentage increase calculation is so important, because it grants you that starting point. Remember, revenue was $1 million or $500,000. You're almost ready to say, you're almost ready to crown product A the best, until you find out that starting point, okay? Which for A was 12 months ago, and for B was last month. Once you find that starting point, now, what have you done since then? That tells the real story of the movement, okay? And with data, the movement is very important, because things are always moving. And companies, in order to be strategic, they got to understand the movement. Okay, if you don't understand the movement of the data, then you don't know much. Okay, one thing is understanding the numbers, but then you got to understand how they're moving, because you got to get them to move the right way. Okay, we have first response time. Our goal is to get this to move down. Okay, revenue. Our goal is to get that to move up. Right? Efficiency rating. Up. Homework grade time down. Okay, Your goal is to identify your KPIs and then track their movement. Okay? And how they move, if they make sharp movements in any direction, then that is the insight that the companies are after. Okay, that is what they need to know, preferably as it's happening. Okay, so when you add the algorithms and the data science and the AI, it's actually, it's predicting, but it's allowing you to make decisions on the fly in real time that are giving you a strategic advantage. Okay, you build an algorithm and you place it on your live data, and it's running 95% accurate. That's like you have this scholar that knows everything about your business as it's coming in and just making constant right decision after right decision after right decision. Only 5% of mistakes, right? No human is operating that efficiently. But now you're taking also complex logic that is coming from different data sources, different analysis. It could be coming from GPS data. It could be coming from from anywhere, right? Traffic data, weather data, it doesn't matter. All of these factors come in and you want it to make a decision based on that, okay? But make a decision as is happening. That's the advantage that data science gives you, okay? Now, for data analytics, we get to see things, okay? We could always say, hey, when first response time goes up 15%, send me an email. Whenever I see a 15-point swing, week over week, month over month, then send me an update so I can look into that. You could set something up like that. But in terms of insight, as a company, I want to know that this shot up 27%, right? But ideally, I would have liked to know maybe a week ago when I had 2 solid weeks that were over. That would have been even better, right? Or the first week it shot up, that would have been good to know. Or if I could have predicted this was going to shoot up, that would be even better. Okay. So when you think about a company going through their data process, they would like to be able to see these things happen before they happen. Okay. They want to know when something's about to go up, right? Maybe our algorithm detected there was COVID on the rise, and it knew as a result our response time was going to go, up. That's not a good example, but it helps you understand what companies are going through. If they can add the GPS in there and predict when they're going to be late, some of them, they reroute the trucks automatically based on the GPS data. So you don't spend all your time in traffic, right? So that's kind of predicting what's going to happen by using, the data from different places, right? And so that is an example if you think about insight in terms of what would a company want to know? Like what is important? And what's important is I started off here. I either took a jump in the right or the wrong direction. Either way, that is very important to a business because they need to go figure out why that happened. Okay. All right. Looking at last week. All right. So look at this right here. We were just talking about it. We were at 79%. Okay. Let's go to our percentage increase calculator. We were at 79. And we went up to, what was the number? My memory don't work like that. 85. Okay, so we went from 79% last week to 85%. So we had a 7.5 It just rounded 8%. We had an 8% increase week over week. Okay. So in this case, 8% going up is a good thing. 8% going down is a bad thing. Okay. 8% going up is my 79 to 85%. So overall, we improved last week, right? So immediately, this is why I have you build the dashboards in the way that we do, because every click introduces a bunch of questions and answers. Okay. So immediately we see, and when you click in, it should, since you're adding this filter, I should see these numbers in my main KPI. So if I want to go revisit this week, I just click on it and it shows me, hey, this is what happened, okay, in your main KPIs. Now, I look at last week, it filters my data set by just what happened last week, okay? We had an overall 85% that was up 8% week over week. So now I look at my groups, right? And my bars right here, okay, there's 2 bars now that I've selected. I'm gonna take my selection off. Now look at my bars when I take my selection off. You see? So the bars, when I take no selections, is just what the entire average is, okay? Now, once I click on this bar, the skinny part of the bar now is based on what I just clicked on, okay, which is this 1 week, last week, where I got my 85% and I got my 8% week over week increase. I'm just selecting on last week. So if I look at my chart, the fat part is where we were with no filters on. Okay, so this is saying instructor class is normally at a 96%, which is this fat bar right here. But this week highlighted, which is the week that we're filtering, is at 100%. Okay, I'm usually at 96%. I'm at 100%. Okay, look at this one right here. This is a big difference from where you normally are. This is like in sight, right? Look at this. Let's look at the numbers. The normal rate is 57%. Last week was 100, right? So if I was to do a percentage increase on that, I'd say, hey, this team right here did this percentage better than what they normally do. That's insight. You see? Because it's something out of the norm. What's normal is 57%. Last week was not normal. Last week was at 100%. That's insight. All right. Look at this. This is also insight, but in the opposite direction. All right. So normally we're at an 88% success rate. Last week, we were at a 50% success rate. So that is negative insight. All right. And the bigger the gap in between, the better the insight. Okay. So something drastically is up or drastically is down, the more drastic it is, like insight is full of drama. Okay. It's the drama part of the job. All right. If you can't have insight if it's not drama. Okay. Hey, did y'all know revenue decreased 15% month over month from last month? What? That happened? That's drama, y'all, right? That's drama. And so insight is about the drama. Okay. So when I look here, I see, most of the groups, look, you look at Colaberry events, they 67% normally, 67%. No, Nothing to see here, right? There's no drama there. They did exactly what they've been doing the whole time. Is 3 of them doing it, 1 of them chilling. Okay. And even though that's not full of drama, we could go, we know it's predictable. Okay, it's predictable. And if it's predictable, then we can assume that if no changes are made, we're going to continue to get those numbers. Right? So now, as a business leader, do I make an adjustment on that? Do I shoot for 80%? Process of elimination, pull somebody else in? That's the decision for the business to make. But everything is looked at from a numbers perspective. And that's what you guys got to understand is even when you have your job, you're being looked at as a number and part of a process. Okay. And if you don't have your numbers together, it's gonna be caught, okay, because it's gonna turn into insight.